Gender, Feminism, and Sexuality Vocabulary Lesson. Feminism. The belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. Someone who believes in feminism is called a feminist. And all men and women, all genders can be feminists. This is not only a women's issue, this is everyone's issue. Patriarchy. The concept that in a society or household, men have more power than women. So the sign here says, smash the patriarchy. This means that there are people that are trying to change the system so that there is more equality in society and in homes. For example, patriarchy is seen in the US in how many more men are CEOs or high-level managers in companies. Sexism. The idea that women are inferior to men in terms of physical ability and intellect. For example, many people assume that women cannot perform at the same level in sports as men. But we know that this is not true. Misogyny. The hatred of women. For example, a misogynist is someone who thinks women should not make the same amount of money as men for the same exact job because of their gender. Here's an example of the word misogyny used in the news. This is taken from Miss Magazine. So let's look at this website. So you can see here the title. It says, "Hey US Sports, your misogyny is showing." So this article talks about the women's US soccer team and how they are trying to fight for equal pay. So they are taking the US Soccer Federation to court, and the US Soccer Federation is saying that women do not play at the same level and do not have the same type of job as men in the field of soccer. This woman is a very famous soccer player who is fighting for equal pay for all soccer players. Read that article if you want to learn more about it. Gender. The reference to the sexes, male or female, but also in terms of cultural and social references to being feminine or masculine. So this picture here shows a boy playing with cars, and this is an idea that only boys are supposed to play with cars and girls are supposed to play with dolls. This is a traditional idea of gender. Gender discrimination or gender bias. The unfair or unjust treatment of someone based on their gender or their gender identity. Gender identity. This is the way that people see themselves, which may not be the same as their biological sex that they were born with. For example, a person born as a man might later identify as a woman. Gender neutral. A description of clothing, object, or places that are not related to one gender. For example, parents often ask for gender neutral clothes for their kids nowadays. So gender neutral clothes are clothes that do not look like they are either masculine or feminine. Cisgender. This is a person who identifies with the gender they were born with. Some say cis for short. The prefix cis comes from Latin that means on the side of. People use it to show solidarity with transgender people. Showing solidarity with someone means that you are trying to be an ally with them. You are trying to be supportive. LGBTQ. This is an acronym that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. Bisexual. Someone who prefers to be either with a female or male romantically. Many people use bi for short. homosexual or gay, someone who prefers to be with someone of the same sex. Lesbian, two females who prefer to be with each other romantically instead of with a male. Non-binary, also genderqueer, someone who doesn't fall into the category of either totally male or totally gender or totally female gender identity. Note, the use of pronouns for non-binary people usually is they instead of she or he. There's a good YouTube video that shows more information about this. It's called 5 Non-Binary People Explain What Non-Binary Means to Them. I highly recommend watching this video, and I'll put it in the link to my bio. Transgender, people who identify as a different gender, someone who identifies as a different gender than the one they were born with. People often say trans for short. Transgender, someone who is undergoing surgery to become another gender. Here are some resources to check out if you want to learn more. This one here, a feminist glossary, because we didn't all major in gender studies. This is this website here. It's a great website that gives lots of different vocabulary that you can look up. And then the other one is a list of terms and glossary definitions. This one is also really helpful.